Well, this all goes back to the budget in the middle of last month when the government expanded the amount of help that parents with younger children get on childcare, and that involved certain childcare companies getting a bit of extra government money. It turns out that one of those companies has the Prime Minister's wife, Akshata Murthy, as a shareholder. And what the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards wants to look into is whether Rishi Sunak has been as open as he should have been about that shareholding, that interest that his household had, in particular when he was questioned by MPs about 2.5 weeks ago on the liaison committee. Here's the relevant exchange which has triggered this investigation.
What conversations have the government had with these agencies about these proposals?
I'll happily write back to you and the committee on exactly what conversations are had. And
there's nothing the Prime Minister wishes to declare in respect of that?
No, I mean all my disclosures are declared in the normal way.
What number 10 says is that the Prime Minister there is referring to the fact that he disclosed his wife's interest in the firm in the ministerial interests register. Ministers are held to an even higher standard, more onerous requirements on declarations than all the other MPs. But whereas other MPs have those their interests published very regularly, the ministerial ones sit in a government safe until such time as the government chooses to share it. And the latest register has been sitting there accumulating wisdom which we don't know about for nearly 1 year. We're told we'll get it very soon, but people haven't seen it yet. That's the sort of thing that's going to be looked into by the Parliamentary Commissioner. I should say other senior figures have, of course, been investigated without too much effect. Keir Starmer was told he was late with some registering, and he just got a private conversation with the Parliamentary Commissioner explaining the rules to him. Boris Johnson, just before he became leader of the Tory party, he got a rap over the knuckles and had to do an apology in the House of Commons. I suspect this is at the lower end of the scale. It's going to be a private conversation, you would guess now, or maybe just a gentle rap over the knuckles, not much more than that. But it creates the sort of headlines that the Tories really don't want just a couple of weeks or so away from local elections.
Thanks, Gary.
Well, earlier, Mr. Sunak was defending his plan to make all students in England study maths until the age of 18, although he admitted that more teachers would need to be recruited. Mr. Sunak said he wanted to change what he called the country's anti-maths mindset, which he claimed was holding the economy back. Opposition parties described the plan as an empty pledge without enough maths teachers to deliver it. Amelia Jen reports.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Prime Minister.
Bad at maths? It's no laughing matter, says the PM.
We make jokes about not being able to do maths, but we'd never make a joke like that about not being able to read.
Today, the former banker and self-proclaimed deviser of spreadsheets launched a review that could see compulsory maths until 18 in England.
They do it in Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Finland, Japan, Norway and America. Why should we accept any less for our children?
But in what form? Not an A-level, he says, instead an additional subject, with a panel deciding over the next few months whether it would require a qualification. Blue sky thinking, just as schools gear up for more strikes in April and May, with salaries diving by 13% in real terms since 2010 and school staff leaving in droves.
There are more pressing and compelling things that he should be making an announcement about. Clearly, he should be doing that. We have 2 strike dates coming up. We don't want to be on strike. We want to be in classrooms teaching children. And so he should be trying to resolve the dispute.
Multiply by 100, right?
This school in East London, a stone's throw from Rishi Sunak's speech, has 17 maths teachers. It's their most popular subject and they welcome the idea. But just how feasible is it?
Any principal or head teacher loses sleep over 2 things: results and retention. Teachers are the best and only real resource that any school has. Should we say it's an ongoing quest?
We need a tremendous number of maths teachers, and obviously what the Prime Minister has announced today feeds into further exacerbating that problem.
And that's the crucial thing that's just not adding up. The government's missed its target for recruiting maths teachers for 12 years in a row, even though it dropped that target by 40% in 2020. But teacher shortages aside, a third of GCSE pupils are failing at maths as it stands. Those who don't pass have to keep studying, but this plan would see everyone going beyond GCSE in what form is unknown. These students are all doing it at A level, but they're not so sure everyone will share their enthusiasm. Let's say tomorrow your teachers walk in and say everybody now has to do maths up to 18. What do you think would happen?
Yeah, I'd hate it.
I'd be devastated as she, added stress as well.
Some form of maths up to year 18 is a good idea, but maybe not the entire maths A-level. It's quite an intense A-level, I'd say. It's one of the hardest A-levels. So.
Yeah. But I think just general money management is a big area that we can focus more on rather than implementing an A-level subject that most people don't want to do.
I don't think I can.
And in the age of mobile phones that can answer our every question, what of long division anyway?
That's so bad. What sort of level maths is that as well?
Must be like... That's GCSE.
GCSE?
That's GCSE, yeah.
I did GCSE maths.
And then I carry the 3 into 35, and that got 7, 40, 21, 28, 35, which is 5, so 65.
Brilliant! I shouldn't have said I did maths because... How many times does 7 go into 45?
That's 42.
Remainder 3?
Yeah.
You got it!
Oh!
Yay! One option the government's considering is extending core maths with a focus on real-life math skills.
Anything else?
But real-life math skills require real-life teachers, and that's the equation that'll need solving first.
Well, a short time ago, I spoke to the Schools Minister, Nick Gibb, and asked him how the government should hire the maths teachers it needs to deliver its new vision.
We have a £27,000 tax-free bursary to encourage young people to want to come into teaching. We know it's a challenge recruiting graduates. It's a very competitive graduates market for employers, but this is an important vision to make sure that all young people after the age of 16 continue to study maths. It's the skills that employers want, it's what the modern economy needs, and it will help those young people to secure the best jobs in whatever field they want to go into.
Right.
Maths will help them.
So when is the last time that you hit your teacher recruitment target for maths?
It's been several years since we've met the full target. We've reached 90% in some years, 80% in other years.
But
it is
over
a challenge.
decade since.
No, it's been a great challenge to meet those targets. We live in a very strong economy with a lot of competition for those graduates. Maths graduates really can work in industry and commerce. They're in great demand.
Well, a £27,000 bursary isn't really going to cut it, is it? When bright young graduates who've got amazing maths skills have the city coming to get them, and they're looking at teacher pay, on average, it's gone down by 11% since 2010.
But the prospects for able people coming into teaching are great these days. Head teachers, for example, in a secondary school are earning over £94,000 a year, and some more than that. And there are great opportunities to become a head of department, to become a CEO of a multi-academy trust. So I would say now is a very good time to come into the teaching profession. And we need maths graduates to come in to teach the next generation the math skills they need for their future and for the future of the British economy.
But it's an empty promise, isn't it, without offering teachers a pay rise, and that's the fact that the government hasn't done that. In fact, their pay, as I said, has on average gone down by 11% since 2010. The fact that the government hasn't given teachers a decent pay rise is why they're all going out on strike.
Well, last year we gave teachers on average a 5.2% rise. This year we had offered to the teacher unions 4.5% rise plus a £1,000 payment for last year, bringing that 5.2% up to more than 7.5%, nearly 7.8% pay rise for 2022-23.
But then over the years, it's nowhere near kept pace with inflation, has it?
No, right across the system, we've had to deal with the aftermath of the banking crisis in 2008-9, and that's why there have been challenges in terms of public sector pay. But inflation now in the fourth quarter of 2023 is forecast to be about 2.9%. We offered the teacher unions a 4.5% pay rise for the 2023-24 academic year, and it's a great disappointment that has been rejected, and now it's up to the School Teachers Review Body, the independent pay review body, to determine what they believe to be the right pay.
And the average classroom teacher in England earns nearly £40,000. An MP, basic salary, nearly £87,000. Can you, in all honesty, say that you are worth that much more than a teacher?
Well, I don't know what I'm worth. That's up to the voters in my constituency. What I can tell you is that the prospects for teachers in our schools today are very good. As I said, the average pay for a secondary school head teacher is over £94,000, more than a Member of Parliament earns, and it's a very rewarding job.
Just while we've got you, Rishi Sunak is being investigated by the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. Do you believe that he has more integrity than Boris Johnson?
I think the Prime Minister has great integrity. He's working with the Commissioner to demonstrate that these interests have been declared in the usual way that ministers do, through the Cabinet Office, through the Permanent Secretary. But this is a matter now for the Standards Commissioner rather than for me.
If he's got such integrity, how come he's been fined by police twice and now this?
Well, look, you know, those are matters between the Prime Minister and all those different inquiries. I've worked with Rishi for quite a while. I know he's a man of integrity, he's a man of high intelligence who wants to deliver for this country in terms of maths, but also in terms of reducing waiting lists in the NHS, getting our economy growing, bringing down inflation and bringing down those NHS waiting lists. And he will deliver on those commitments.
Nick Gibb, thanks very much.
My pleasure, Kathy.